Now, what's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Phantom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I'm here with Anthony, Michelle, and Mike, and we are discussing episode 7 of The Last of Us. First thing I want to say is thank you, HBO, for not making us wonder for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
If Joel
I
was,
was worried. I was literally worried that they were just gonna leave us hanging on that shit. Like, oh my God, please don't.
yeah.
But then of course they give us another tragic love story. Like, motherfuck, man.
Well, but
I'm glad the thing I'm happy about, I'm glad they didn't show the moment where Ellie realized that she was immune and that the other girl wasn't.
yeah.
Where the other girl probably would have attacked her, and she's like, why am I not doing this? I'm glad they didn't get to that moment because that would have just I probably wouldn't have been able to finish that. I would be like,
Yeah,
fuck, I
I,
can't
I
do it.
like the way that they ended this episode because I was like, we already know what happened. We don't need to see the end result. It was
Okay,
just,
but for again that person who wants to know the who, when, where, why, how, I actually did. I want to know, like, which I do play some more arcades. Then you sit there, open up some old nacho cheese that's 20 years old, and
I don't know. Watching Ellie kill her would have been traumatic.
well, yeah, like, did she leave her there or the fireflies? I actually wanted to know. But what got me was just being on edge the whole episode because we know what happens. So I'm like, is it that time? Is it gonna happen now?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we got 5 more minutes. Is it now? No, okay, we're okay. Is it
this is
now?
one of,
Like,
this is one of those episodes where I paused 50 million times
Same.
because I just kept, okay, hold on. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Because throughout the whole thing, one of the things, and even throughout the other episodes, one of the things that has always bothered me is Ellie is
Noise,
so damn loud.
noise,
Loudest.
Like,
noise. They were making so much fucking noise. I'm like,
so
even
much.
what about regular people walking down the street? We hear the noise y'all was making in there.
And I mean, I understand they're
Turning
in
on
the
a
mall.
fucking carousel. She turned on a fucking carousel. Like, are you?
Now, here's the thing: when you sit here and think about it, I've thought about what she said to Ellie because she was like, "We're literally in a." I don't know if she said it's like a tomb, but she was like, nobody else can hear or see but us. And I was like, if you think about the way some malls are built, that could possibly be the case. It's not like they had outside um outside windows, but I was thinking about the top of the mall. I was
I
like,
thought
okay,
that too.
so is it that kind of glass where you can see the light on the inside, but when it's outside, it's like it kind of keeps the light from escape. I didn't know, but I was like, one, that's a
She
lot
got,
of fucking light.
but yeah, and plus it's like everything around there doesn't have probably doesn't have electricity. It's like that's the only place that's like being lit up. Like no one's living in any of that shit because there's fucking cookers and shit around there. They don't want to be around there. Nobody wants to live around there. So it's like there's no light. There are no lights on except for that. It's basically a fucking beacon in the night, just being like, "Hey, I'm here. Come fuck with us."
Well, what she said was that they turned the electricity on in that grid because there were more refugees, which means they had to open up more apartments, which means they had to clear more space. So that part I got. That's why she said, she said they probably didn't realize the mall was on that same power grid. Which, okay, I get it. That can make some sense. But it was just the whole thing of y'all are making so much
See,
Much noise.
my
noise.
brain, I'm like, okay, are the apartments, are they tall apartments? Are the apartments higher than the mall? Because if that's the case, if
I
someone
don't
is in
think
the
so.
top
Yes,
apartment, they
no,
can
no,
look
no. They were
down
over the mall
Yeah, they
when
were
they
and
when
over
they
the
were
mall.
when they were doing all that parkour roof jumping shit. They were above the mall.
They were,
so
They
yes.
how
were
can
looking down
someone
on it.
not looking out their window not see, there's some lights on in the top of that mall. I wonder what's going on over there. You know? I'm just saying. I
I don't
mean,
know. I mean, I
We
was
gonna say that people was asleep.
I mean, it was
I mean, it
like
was
4 o'clock.
yeah, it was like what 2 o'clock in the morning when she woke her up. Probably took them maybe 30 minutes to get there. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But
Who can sleep during an apocalypse? It's a fucking apocalypse. Nobody sleeps. Everybody's awake.
I mean, they're behind walls and they
Yeah.
may feel safe. I mean,
Well, they have to work really hard during the day, so they're tired.
What if it's like
True.
underground Atlanta and it's underground?
well,
See, I'm scared. I'm scared to go to underground Atlanta before there's a freaking pandemic apocalypse. There's no chance I'm going to in the underground Atlanta after one. Like,
not
hell
now.
no.
Not now,
I'll be
James.
damned. I'll sleep on the street. I'll sleep on the before I go down there. And during an apocalypse, no, sir, no, not absolutely the fuck not.
But then also like, why would you? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. Why would you even take the chance of going to a mall? Like, do they boarded the mall up, right? But that means you locked whatever was in there if it wasn't good. So
Well,
why even risk it?
So I think part of the thing is like when Riley is telling Ellie or when they show up at the mall or when she shows her the mall, Ellie is like, "Are you crazy? They have infected in there." You know, apparently I guess that was their version of what Kansas City was doing, was like herding all of the clickers or whatever into the mall. That was what Ellie was thinking. And Riley was like, "So, but are there?" And I was like, oh, that's one of those things where they probably kept people out by telling them that the clickers were in there to deter them to be like, okay, you know what? We just don't want that headache. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, I don't know. Why? It's kind of like you said, why would you risk going in there anyway? Because that's a large place to have to try to
That's a
clear
large
out.
space.
Well, I haven't played the game, but I do know in the game in that part is more than just one clicker running around. Like it was a whole bunch of them. So that still begs the question: why even bother?
Nah, Sean. Nuh-uh.
But I mean,
No.
if you look at
Mortal Kombat is a great game, but it ain't worth it. It ain't worth that.
And Mortal Kombat 2 was actually a very good game, but absolutely the fuck not.
I believe that the last night with the love and best friend is worth that.
Well, and then like I said, if you look at the story and the way she presented things, she had been sleeping in that mall for probably a few days. Maybe most of the time that she had been gone for a few weeks, or Riley had been gone for a few weeks at this point. So maybe she had slept there. She had to have thoroughly explored in order to know where to take Ellie. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that's the area that Riley grew up in. I don't know if she was familiar with that mall from before, but I mean, she's 19 years old. So even at that age, I feel like if it's been
she wasn't even born.
Years, she wasn't born.
She wasn't even born when she was born. She's a apocalypse baby.
So I don't know. It's just.
Did she say that she was stationed there by the Fireflies?
Like the Fireflies posted her there.
Not that was her post. She said she was 17. She was 17.
She's 17 going on 18.
So definitely she wasn't born when the mall was operating.
But she was posted there, so obviously the Fireflies probably had someone posted there before, so they probably knew it pretty well. But they didn't scope it out well enough, apparently.
So,
because
and see, that's all that actually solved. That's a convenient solve for the problem of what happened afterwards. It's like because she said she was leaving the next day, and they're probably coming to get her. They're probably coming to get her she's like, where the fuck is she? And then they see Ellie there a bit and see her like turning and probably shoot her, take Ellie, and then we get to where we are.
And
I was thinking about it, I was like, how are they going to connect that? And I was like, okay, that actually makes more sense since she was getting ready to get shipped to Atlanta. Like from Boston? Like that's a fucking trip. Like these motherfuckers.
Think about where Joe was getting his drugs from, Atlanta.
I know. I'm just like,
So obviously there
we
was a
walk from Boston to
pipeline.
fucking
There was a
Wyoming.
pipeline from Atlanta to Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like I was wondering, I had wondered out loud about her being in there, and Michelle's like, well, she probably was quiet, so that clicker probably never heard any noise, and
Yeah.
even the
And
person who was posted there before was probably quiet.
Right. And he wasn't a clicker. He wasn't full. He still had half his face. So he's just infected. He's one of those ranges I can't think of. Because the
Yeah.
clicker is completely no
Yeah.
head and they're
Cauliflower
using
face.
sound.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
no
But
hair.
then there's so much sound like that's happening in the world that you think of. There's the AC, there's so much sound, but if you watched it, he really just woke up when it was human sounds.
The
So
voices.
so if she was in there playing
Not
video
even just
games,
not even just the voices, but also the
it's just
video
them
games,
scream.
the laughing. I mean,
Yeah, like you hearing that's a different sound than he's there like I'm not gonna wake up. That's just like machine making noises. That's not the same of I'm trying to infect. The infection knows what they looking for.
Yeah.
And they ain't looking for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Machine, no Raiden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
Finish him.
also I feel like the voices echoed through the emptiness of the mall, and that was probably what made him be like, what? And then again, like I said, they're being so fucking loud. Like, even if there wasn't anything there, it's kind of like when they were in the underground tunnel in the Henry and Sam episode. It's like, yeah, that might be clear, but you never know when you have a straggler. So why continue to make the noise? And I mean, I understand. First of all, they're kids. Ellie is only 14. Riley is 17. They're kids. Ellie has never seen a mall. She's never seen the things inside a mall. She's never seen an arcade. And Riley is really trying to have just the best night of her life with her best friend before she leaves. And they're able to be kids. It's kind of like the episode with Sam. Like, y'all are running around playing, making so much noise. But
like she's screaming about the escalator. That was crazy. The stairs are moving.
That was hilarious.
Funny. But it was so cute because you see the world through a different lens, looking at it from Ellie's point of view, because Ellie has never experienced any of this. This is all stuff we take for granted because we see this stuff every day. So it's fun watching her go through that. And in a way, I feel like we kind of forgive her for being naive or being like, oh, okay, you know what? You are really about to bring a clicker down on you. But I mean, she's never experienced this before. So it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to be mad at you. I don't want to say you're being stupid or you're making dumb decisions, because you're having fun in a way that you've never had before. And life is short in that world. You don't know what's going to happen, as we see towards the end of the episode. So I'm kind of glad she got to experience all of that. But it's kind of like, ooh, every single moment I was sitting on the edge of the couch and I would just have to sit there and pause, be like, nope, let me go look on Facebook for a minute. Okay, let me try it now. Okay, let me pause this. Let me go fix me something to eat. Let me watch it again. Oh, let me pause it. Let me go load the dishwasher. Like, this was one of those episodes that took me almost 2 hours to watch because I couldn't. I was too anxious. I was like, this goddamn show. And I already know what's going to happen at the end. You already know Riley dies. You already know that Ellie probably was the one who had to kill her, just based on some of the stuff that she said in prior episodes. But you still aren't ready for it. You know, it's just like with death of any kind. You can be ready for it mentally, like you can prepare yourself mentally. Okay, this person is sick, this person has been sick, they're towards the end, and you can go through those logical steps. But then when it comes time and it actually happens, you don't know how to react. And I felt like that the whole episode. I was like, where's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? Because it was a long time before we even knew the clicker was in the mall. You know, and even then he was just kind of moving a little bit. And it seemed like once we got the reveal that the clicker was there, from that time to the time when he actually appeared, it felt so long. And it was one of those things where you were just scared he was going to come around any moment. And I was like, yeah, watch, when they got these stupid ass masks on and they're dancing with this loud ass music, that's when he's going to show up. I was just glad. I was just glad that they were able to hear him, because the way that they shot the episode, especially with all the noise when they were playing the video games and they're screaming and they're playing, you know, you never know what the moment will be. And that was the thing that kind of terrified me, because I was like, oh my God, are they even going to hear it come? Is it going to sneak up behind them? Like, that was the whole episode. And I love The Last of Us, and I hate them at the same time for doing that, because you're anxious the whole time. Like, oh my God, what's about to happen? Oh my God, what's about to happen?
All right, real quick side note. Back in the 80s, there was a movie called Nightmares. And it was kind of like Creepshow, where it had like it was set up like with different vignettes of like little short horror stories and stuff. So one of them is the most famous one it has Emilio Estevez as a video game player, and he's playing this video game and he wants to beat it, and because no one's been able to beat this video game, and he finally beats it, but the game comes to life and actually takes him in, like turns him into the video game. But it's like, why did that arcade look just like that arcade? It's like it instantly took me back to it. I looked it up. I don't think it's the same one, but it's like it looked just like it, and that's why I was expecting the Mushroom Head to show up. I was like, he's gonna show up right here. As soon as it says finish him, he's gonna like tackle him. I'm gonna be like,
I was expecting
I
that
knew
too.
it.
I was like, that would be so appropriate. Finish him, or a fatality. And then here comes the clicker. I was like, y'all don't do that to us. Like,
it was either there or when the merry-go-round stopped and she was like, I'm gonna go fix it. I was like, oh hell no, here it comes. Oh fuck, here we go. I just knew that she was gonna open the door. It was gonna be like 5 of them motherfuckers in there.
I was waiting.
Yeah, they did a real good job of ramping up the suspense in this one, because they knew exactly what the fuck they were doing, because they had us sitting here like, we're just gonna have to, as soon as it like it and woke up, like it unstuck itself from the wall, and they didn't pay it off immediately. I was like, motherfucker,
like y'all just have us with anxiety the whole episode,
like literally like this, like god damn it, like like now shit, like just do it. It's just like a bandage. Just rip the motherfucker off. Just rip the motherfucker off. Just do it. Like, come on. But
let's go back to the beginning of the episode for a minute, because when the episode starts, we see this old abandoned neighborhood, and you see like traces of blood in the snow, and Ellie has somehow gotten Joel into a house on the bottom, in the basement. You know, I guess that's where the garage was, or maybe it wasn't the basement. Maybe it was the first floor. And I don't know.
That was the basement.
It was basement.
Okay,
it was the basement,
because it looked like maybe it could have been like a split level house or whatever.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that was the basement.
So Joel is there. He's still hurt. She's trying to stop his bleeding, and Joel basically grabs her. He tells her, he was like, "Go, take the gun, go north, find Tommy." And she doesn't want to leave him, and he tells her to go, and he kind of throws her against, across the floor, because he realizes he's gonna die, and I think he doesn't want her to be around for that. So it's when she gets to the door upstairs that she starts having this flashback about her life before, well, I can't say before the apocalypse, about her life before all of this. And this had to have been only maybe a few months, because at this point, I think they've been together and gone about 6 months. So maybe a few weeks before all of this happened, is where she's showing us this. And we see that, she's a federal trainee. She's going through, it looks like PE class. And Ellie is one of the, she's one of these kids that's bullied. And I was like, this little girl who is bullying her, who is like taking off the headphones, and she was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Blah blah blah." And Ellie looks at her like she's about to fight. I don't want to fight. And the girl says, "Oh, you're not the fighter. Your friend fights, but she's not here." The minute she said that and you saw Ellie's face, I was like, this bitch don't know she about to get punched.
Right.
What that
No,
girl
no,
felt,
she knew right after she said that shit. And she saw Ellie's face. She was like, "Oh damn, I fucked up."
yeah, what she failed to realize was the ass whippings from Riley were protecting her from the ass whippings from Ellie.
Probably so. I feel like it. Or maybe it was just one of those things where Ellie Ellie knew no one else was there to protect her because apparently Riley was Ellie's only friend. I mean, Ellie, let's be honest, she does not have the most bubbly personality. She doesn't seem like she would make friends easily because she kind of keeps to herself. And I got kind of the feeling during the conversation with the supervisor, I can't remember who he is, but I felt like Ellie was one of those rare kids who lost her parents very, very young to the point where she does not remember them. Riley even makes mention of this later on in the episode. She was like, "You don't know what it's like to lose people you love." So that already tells me that Ellie keeps everybody, kind of at arm's length, but also she didn't have anyone that was paternal taking care of her. So there's probably already that resentment. Then you're talking about the one person she does care about, she does love, who is her best friend, who we find out later she actually, has a crush on or is in love with. And you're talking about this person being gone and, oh, she abandoned you or she's whatever the case is. Yeah, you know what? That's the wrong kid to be picking on at this moment.
Yeah, but I still am gonna go with Riley was making sure that Ellie didn't fuck some up real good.
That she wasn't
Like,
putting 17 stitches in everybody she came across.
right. So I'm pretty
Well,
sure Riley knew what Ellie was capable of because even the main guy, he's like, you are going to be the leader. Like, you're smart. I think I think there's some people can see this in people, and Riley knew where her lot in life was going to be.
and I disagree because Riley was putting people almost to death in the infirmary for months. So I think they were just a duo that you just don't mess with. But she tends to be Riley is the one that goes hitting first.
Yeah,
She take them down first. So they just assume Ellie didn't know what she was doing. But it's
that's
easier to
true.
show you. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's quicker to
That's
show you.
true.
Riley just never gave Ellie the chance to whip
Right.
anybody's ass.
She was already on them.
Exactly.
I was thinking about that TikTok that was out like maybe a year ago. It's like, you see that? You see her? That's my best friend. You fuck with her, you fuck with me. You fuck with me, you fuck with her. You fuck with us, you dead. That's literally what I was thinking of when I saw that. I was like, okay, this is who they are. Like, they protect each other. And now of course, and I think everybody probably underestimated Riley because Ellie, because if you put her and Riley together, she's small.
Mhm.
Riley is taller than her. She's a little bit, Ellie is very skinny. Riley is a solid girl. She looks like she can handle herself. And of course, if she's been training with the Fireflies, she's probably been put through some paces. Not only that, but she was training for Fedra before that. They had these
And,
kids training like soldiers.
and
So,
then Bethany is big too. So yeah,
mhm.
Ellie is small because Bethany looking like, oh, I'm gonna take her down. Okay, you learn your lesson.
She did. She ended up with what, 15, 17 stitches in her face.
And her rough.
Apparently, kids have never learned to stop messing with people.
Gosh,
They
I
don't.
just
Just
they just
stop.
Especially the quiet people. Especially the people they
yes.
bother nobody. Why are you fucking with them? There's a reason nobody's fucking. You just leave them alone.
Mhm.
But that's fine. They can show you better than they can tell you. You gonna find out real
Fuck
quick.
around and find out.
Yes, sir.
Mhm. But I like the contrast where Captain Huang, that's who she was talking to, was giving her options in life. He's like, basically, that you have two options. You can be this over here, and you act like a grunt, you'll get treated like a grunt. You'll get the grunt work, and you'll have leaders like Bethany telling you what to do for the rest of your life. Or you can choose this over here. You can train, you can become an officer, become a leader. He was like, we eat well, we sleep well, we're warm in the winter, we're cool in the summer. I was like, yeah, that's part of the problem. Because that's how y'all are separating people. But of course, Ellie does. I mean, at this point, she doesn't know to think any different. This is what she's been raised in all her life. So she doesn't know, or I would say she doesn't think about the fact that, oh, that's not fair that only the officers get to have that stuff and regular people don't. How would she know that? She's been a federal orphan all her life. But it's interesting when Riley does come back. You know, she sneaks back in to the room in the middle of the night. She and Ellie are roomies, and she sneaks in, and when she tells her she's a Firefly, at first Ellie doesn't believe her, and then you see very quickly Riley is pretty much the boss of that friendship. You know, she's older, she's bigger. I feel like she's more brave, she's more bold, because she sees what's going on there in Fedra. She's like, oh no, I'm not about to do this, especially when we find out later, you know, when her and Ellie are having this conversation. Ellie is like, well, it can be better, we can make it better. And she was like, no, you can make it better, you probably will make it better. She was like, but I already know what they think of me, they put me on sewage detail, so they already think I'm trash. And I was just like, yeah, that whole scene and that whole dialogue could be taken so many different ways. I don't even think we need to put on our militant hat for that one. It's just kind of right there.
We're just gonna pretend. We're just gonna move on and save that discussion for another day.
Yeah, but we know what the implication was. But I tell you, watching these two, and again, there's only 3 years between them, but you can tell that 3 years it's a lot, because Riley looks at the world in a way that Ellie, I don't know if I want to say does not or cannot.
How long has it been? They've been separated. How long has it been?
Like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay. Yeah, but their ages, they're 3 years. It's 14 and 17. Yeah. Okay.
But the other thing too is Riley has grown up with parents, because the way that she talked, it seemed like her losing her parents was maybe not fresh, but it was recent enough that it affected her. You know, like she remembered being with her parents. She remembered being part of a family, like, you know, and she says it. And Ellie has never known that.
Should have been 10, 12.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, these kids have amazing skills, because you're not about to find me running over rooftops and jumping from building to building, and no, it's not about to happen. Don't they realize that Fedra has patrols at night? I mean, I know we didn't see.
They should, because they almost got caught with one when they stepped out of that damn apartment building. They should have got caught then.
So clearly, it looks like Fedra don't really do that job at night. And also Riley, that's how she got a Firefly. She was good at sneaking around.
She said that's what Marlene told her.
Clearly, the dregs that they have on patrol, they need to put at least 2 smart people on patrol, at least one smart person on patrol with them that actually knows what they're doing, because they're probably just driving, talking, and taking drugs that they got from
Joel.
From Joel.
That's when all the black market stuff gets moved around, is at night.
Okay, so let's talk about black market. Let's talk about black market. Okay, so I know what I'm going to invest in when we get to these type of times. I'm going to invest in wigs, hair extensions, and braids, because those are very popular during these times. I just want to tell you. Okay. So I don't know where Riley went for the micro braids.
Right.
She sat
Micro
there.
braid.
She
Not
found
just
the
regular.
hair. I'm just saying, I'm giving her a thumbs up. It's been 20 years since the last hair manufacturing company has been around.
Exactly.
But they found it.
And she got micro braids. That's a lot of
So
damn
when we
hair.
hear on the news the world is ending, I am going to the hair shop and I'm going to get all those boxes.
Get all the bundles. Get all the bundles. Yep.
We had
that is the trade.
It is. We had this conversation over the weekend because one of the things that we complained about certain characters in the Walking Dead universe is how they got a fresh wig. They got fresh lace fronts in the zombie apocalypse. How? So yeah, and you know, Michelle, I don't even.
It's the wrong lace front, but at least they got a fresh lace front. But this girl got some.
Unlike what's his name, Coleman Hawkins, who had a really bad lace front in The Walking Dead. What's his name? Dude who played Dr. Dre. That's the worst lace front I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Corey Hawkins.
Corey Hawkins, yeah. Like, that's a bad lace front. Like, bruh.
Yeah,
so
his wig, we won't talk about it.
I don't know. She's been with the Fireflies, so while they were, strategically telling her about Atlanta, they were braiding her hair.
See, that's what it is. It's like they were preparing her for Atlanta. Like, here, we gotta get your braids right before you get to Atlanta because we can't have you going down there looking raggedy and shit.
I'm still trying to figure out why they didn't snatch any of the soap from Bath and Body Works.
Hey,
that store looked full.
I mean, Ellie was talking about that too. She was like, "So they took this, but they left the soap." Like, yeah, I didn't think y'all would need.
Let's see, Jordans or a candle, right at the peak of whatchamacallit. So you got to think about it like this. Like, this is at the peak, right before everything got really, really bad, they locked it down.
People probably thought, "Oh, this is going to be a temporary thing. Yeah,
it's going to blow over." So
yeah, it's going to blow over. Fresh. But why? Yep.
Yeah. But so instead, I don't have to smell right. I just need to look right.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
but then they left all that big.
If I'm hiding from something or someone, I don't need to be smelling like Victoria's Secret's cucumber melon so that they can follow the scent.
They completely ignored Victoria. They completely ignored Vicky Sneaky because all that shit was there. Like, every last stitch.
The whole mannequin still up.
All of it.
Like, I think when you're worried about cordyceps infection, you are not worried about whether or not you need a thong or a boy short to go to bed.
So you need some running shoes though.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say.
I told it the athletic wear. I totally get Foot Locker. But then I went across the stores and got some soap. It may not have to be cucumber soap. I could have got the lightest soap, but some soap.
They probably
bare minimum some lotion.
And all of those stores.
You can tell it's Boston
was in the mall. They had a CVS in the mall, which I was sitting there. I was like, wait, has CVS really been around that long? And I was like, yep, I remember CVS.
And the Target was in the mall.
Yep.
So that's a raggedy. First of all, that's a raggedy mall to begin with. What raggedy ass mall got a Target and CVS in it? That's a ghetto ass mall. That's like
from 2003. A lot of them probably back then.
No. A CVS, a drugstore in a mall, that's some South DeKalb shit. That's some raggedy South DeKalb shit.
Street Center.
My point exactly. I rest my case. That's some rag. That's just like having a doggone. That's just like having a Woolworths.
You never know when you're gonna need a Band-Aid or some headache medicine. Okay.
Please,
that's what you got first aid kits for. You don't need to have a whole damn drugstore in there. No.
All emails to michael@fandomhybrid.com.
Hey, MC1971 at yahoo.com. Send that shit straight to my email. I don't give a fuck.
Why do you still have a Yahoo account in 2020? Let's talk about
because it still works. Because it still works. You act like I got a Hotmail account.
That goes along with that raggedy ass mall.
We're not doing that tonight.
I have a Hotmail. I'm
originally What y'all beef with me for my Yahoo for then?
MSN.
So quick sidebar about Hotmail. Went to a store, And I use my old Hotmail account for like junk mail, sign up mail, stuff like that. So I don't have to look at it because I check it maybe only once every 6 or 7 months. And I go to the cashier, and the cashier asks me, do I have an email address that I want my receipt sent to? So I give him my email address, and it's hotmail.com. And he was like, what's a Hotmail? I said, dude, how old are you? He was like, I'm 21. I was like, you know what? Have a good day, sir.
But see,
You know what?
I'm
Cancel
so
my shit.
I'm
Send
so
my
in
shit
the
back.
past. I'm so in the past when it was MSN and they did went to Hotmail. Then they changed our Hotmail to Live.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So I don't have Hotmail. They transferred it to live.com.
Yeah, but I
Look,
still
my
sign
dad-
in at Hotmail, and it goes.
I do. I still
All
sign
right,
in to
all right.
Hotmail.
My dad actually still
Oh,
has his AOL account. which is
before
just
people start
plain
talking
sad.
about Excite and Netscape Navigator, let's just move on.
Escape now.
Oh, they also had a Best Buy. So you can get your electronics too.
Oh, and I was like, it did make me nostalgic. And again, I love seeing Ellie's reaction, because at first she's like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? I'm looking at this in the background. Traveling over rooftop, not a bit of a guard.
And
Nowhere.
I'm like, ain't nobody like,
People on the rooftops to look. Like, you got a big vantage point.
ain't nobody like somebody snuck out the bedroom to go grab a smoke on the roof. Like nobody outside fooling around outside on the roof. Maybe 2 kids and got together. Nobody on the roof. Nowhere.
And it's some young shit. Cause we wouldn't be jumping from rooftop to rooftop. I would have made it up one building and we done.
Mm-mm. I would have barely made it across that first one and be like, nope, I'm going back.
Yep.
No.
Those ankles would have buckled and I would have went rolling and be like, you know what, just leave me here.
Well, I mean, at that age, I probably would have been that daring, because I was one
I
of
would
those
have.
kids that
Yeah,
used
I
to
would have to.
jump off the 2nd story porch and climb all over. So I get it.
Parkour.
But
and drinking at the same time. Yeah, I would have done that in college. It didn't matter.
Now that's the thing, because that one, Ellie probably didn't have a good meal. 2, it's 2:00 in the morning, so whatever she had on her stomach has already left. So one, that tells me that Ellie has some history with the drink, because Ellie was swinging it back like it was nothing. Even Ryla was like, "Oh, okay, look at you." Ellie got some experience with that bottle. I'm just saying.
I mean, she's in the military, so I mean.
So I'm looking at the shot of the mall from their vantage point. So it's like on one side of the mall is the roof is completely caved in. So you can actually see, but it's so illuminated, even though it's nighttime. There's not a lot of lights. The surrounding buildings, there aren't that many that are like right there close to the mall that are taller than the mall. So, and again, there's no exterior windows except for it looks like they have like those doors, like that looks like the what is it, the security doors on the outside. Those look down. There's only one like section of the mall that's kind of arched that has windows, but it doesn't look like they probably could have turned on the lights in the mall and nobody would have really seen it, except I feel like light would have come out of that hole in the roof. I guess that's the hole
in the back.
Yeah. It was in the back. Still, you got to have emergency light that was near like it was near the control room. So I would have felt that you would have been able to see something, but I don't know. But
and they didn't have the full lights on. She didn't put the full lights on.
No, I think she
only made a difference.
I think she only put it on like maybe the far side of the mall or the side that they were close to.
Just the dimmers.
Yeah, because again, that area and that floor that the infected was on, that area was completely dark for the most part. Like you can see the residual light, but yeah, I guess it could have. I don't know, but still, it's just kind of like That's a lot of noise. But anyway, going back to it, like I said, seeing Ellie's reaction when the lights came on, and it was just kind of like, you would really think that she had never seen a mall before, like even the actress, because the way her face looked, it was just kind of, whoa, okay. And then you see them exploring the stores, and Riley clearly has planned this night out. And I think I was listening to Storm Reed, the actress who plays Riley, in the post credits, the little show notes, and she was saying it's almost kind of like a first date for them, because as much as we know in this that Ellie has a crush on Riley, you can see it because they focus a lot on Ellie. I did feel through the episode like Riley reciprocated that crush, but because they're because they're both young, and because they probably have both never had a crush like that before, an interest or romantic interest, they don't know how to read each other's signals. So it was cute seeing how that was going to play out. But then I was like, oh, okay, so y'all gonna fuck us up like that. It's not just her best friend or just her friend that she, ended up losing. It's gonna be a person that she like loved. I was like, oh, okay, so y'all, okay. Say it, Mike. What is it?
Emotional damage.
He's gonna have to say that every episode for this show. He's gonna have to.
I was like,
very appropriate.
I was just like, oh my god, like, I mean, and the fact that when they finally kissed, because there were like 2 or 3 moments where I thought they were gonna kiss. It's
I was like, kiss already.
And then when it's like when they finally did it, it was so sweet. It was like the sweetest thing. I was like, that's just so fucking
because
adorable.
Ellie thought that she overstepped. She was like, I'm sorry, and Riley was like,
he's like, for what?
And you could see that relief wash over Ellie's face, which made me even more sad, because I was like, oh y'all, I was like, okay, I don't have to stop. I don't have to wonder anymore. This is the part where you rip our hearts out. This is
exactly.
Thing gets fucked up. Because
just from the beginning, from the beginning, you know that they're into each other, because this was like Riley did the perfect date ever.
True.
You took her to a place she hasn't been before. You explored. You had everything prepped.
You sat there and watched with pride as she explored, like the way she's looking at Ellie when she's going up and down the escalators. And come on, y'all can't tell me y'all haven't done that on the Peachtree Center escalators, that big ass escalator leading up to Peachtree Street. You can't tell me you haven't gone up and gone down and run backwards. Shut up, Anthony. I know you're lying. You lying.
I have not.
Oh, whatever.
I was too scared. I was gonna.
I forgot. I'm sorry. As a kid, you grew up in Milledgeville, so you wouldn't have had that experience. But for those of us who were here,
escalator?
Oh no, he didn't.
I'm not talking about. But that Peachtree Center train station. If you've ever been to Atlanta, there is a train station with like it's a huge escalator. I don't know how long this thing is. But it's one of those things where if you're not good with heights, don't get on it, because it will throw you off. You will get vertigo. You will be And
then in Miami, we just had the escalator in the mall, and you're gonna play on the escalator because a girl got like broken ankles because her strings on her boots got caught up in the escalator, so nobody played on no escalator.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Trauma.
Yeah. But I'm sitting here looking. Look, there's a movie theater in the mall. I miss the days when malls had the movie theaters.
I remember those days.
Same mall.
Lennox had the best movie theater.
Who?
Lennox.
I don't know, because like when I was so I grew up in Southwest Atlanta, right near Greenbrier Mall, and back when I was a kid, Greenbrier Mall was like one of the best places to go, because like right in the middle of the mall, they had this big circle that extended all the way up to the ceiling. It was and
they had the bird cage in the middle of it.
It was a bird cage. So you walk in and you hear like the birds, and you get to see them flying around, and then you go down, and the movie theater was there.
Yep.
Not all this detached stuff.
That was pretty cool.
No, you go to the mall, you go to the movie theater, and then after the movie theater, you're gonna go to the arcade just like they did. You're gonna go to the arcade. You got all your shopping.
Grab you an Orange Julius.
Right there. Now I'm not such a fan of malls anymore, just because it's like most of the stuff in the malls now is, I don't know, it doesn't have that same feeling for me. But yeah, I mean, you see this mall, they've got like there's
I have questions later about your mall and the bird cages, but that's for another
okay,
day and
okay,
time.
No, you
okay.
just had to be there. The Greenbrier was the shit. Greenbrier was the
I'm just
incredible
wondering,
fucking
like,
mall.
what when the birds, like, was something underneath the birds, or were you underneath the
Nobody's
birds?
paying any
No,
attention to
no,
that.
no,
All you're
no,
paying
no.
attention to.
No. So basically, the middle of the mall was a big circle, and the big circle was the bird cage. The
Oh,
bird
from
cage was
from
from the
floor.
ground all the way
Okay,
up to the
thank you.
ceiling.
I'm just
Yeah.
imagining the bird cages are over
Mm-mm,
you as you walk, and I'm like, that's a mess. But
No.
it was almost like an enclosure. Like if you go to the
okay,
zoo and there's like a circular enclosure with something that, yeah, so that's how the bird cage was. So it was literally from the ground all the way up to the ceiling of the mall. So even if you were on the second floor and you were walking on, on the little balcony part, you could still see the
the
bird
bird.
cage. You could still hear the birds. And I mean, they used to have all kinds of birds in there. And it was
Okay,
just the greatest. As a kid, it's like
It was
walking
loud as
past a
fuck.
fish tank. It was loud, but it was like
It was loud
when
as
you're a
fuck.
kid and you walk past a fish tank, it automatically, like, if you're one of those children that's like running through the mall crazy and your parents are like, here, come here and look at this, you're going to stand there, you're going to hear the birds and you're going to see the birds, and you'll just sit there mesmerized. It was the best
Hmm.
thing. I was so sad when they took that out.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm looking at this mall in the background, and you know how you have the little partitions in the stores when a new store is about to open up, and it
Yeah.
says coming soon, and someone on it wrote not. So it's not coming soon. I was like, that's not the first time somebody's been in that mall.
Oh, wait, who, like, in the middle of everything going to shit, like, who stops not coming soon and then runs for your life?
I
Like,
think I think
who
that
did
had to
that?
be, you have to think that there have been stragglers in that mall over the years.
Yeah.
Maybe people, I mean, if you think about it, there are people who try to leave the QZ. Maybe some of them have made their way into that mall, and that's why Fedra locked it off. Like, okay, so we're going to make it so that nobody comes in here. We're going to tell them that there is infected in here, and, keeping them out. And they probably were doing a good job until the fireflies. Now, here's my thing: you're looking for fireflies, you're trying to figure out where this network is. I would think that you would go and check out all of the abandoned buildings. I mean, Kathleen did it, but Kathleen was a whole different beast. She was a whole different beast, and she had a mission. She was looking for something specifically. But like, I would, aside from the fact that a clicker is in there, but I would have gone in there and hid. I mean, they did that in Fear the Walking Dead too. They found a mall, went in there and hid,
and
sat on some brand new mattresses. I was like, see, y'all could live here. This is great.
right, that's what I thought. I'm like,
It
y'all
wasn't
can use them all.
necessary. It
The
wasn't
QZ can use them all.
Yeah, but that's a
They
Mhm.
lot of,
could.
yeah.
It's
Okay,
too many.
so the shot that
It's
I'm
too many
looking at
points of
now,
Well,
entry. It's
it's
too
it.
much.
They have soldiers now. This is in the enclosure. They can use them all.
yeah, and you have multiple exit
Yeah,
points.
one
So
shot
that
can
if
be,
something,
a
it could
mini
work.
minute clinic.
I mean, but they
We
would
have
have to
never.
work.
We hold on. We have never seen any zombie apocalypse movie where posting up in the mall has worked. It doesn't
But
work.
this is an enclosure. They're protected from the outside.
It doesn't
This
work.
Yeah,
is
but
where I would have
it's
my
an
hair shot.
enclosure.
So I'm
It
just
doesn't
saying,
work.
this is a perfect
It's
place.
an
There's too many points
enclosure
of
where you're
entry.
trapped.
It's too many points of entry, and it's also got to be connected to an underground network. It's too much. It's too many things you have to cover.
The QZ can't use that as a training facility. It's
It's
inside
a
the
death
walls.
trap. Is what it
For
is.
what? For fireflies?
If anything comes in there, whether it
It's
be
it.
fireflies, whether it be soldiers, it's
Nothing
a
should be
trap.
going in there because
It's
it's
a
in
trap.
the wall.
It's a trap.
It's within the walls.
Okay.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. I
Understand.
mean, name one time you've seen them all work in any apocalypse movie for any reason. Never.
Well, somewhat on the series. I mean, I didn't finish the series.
That was in the mall.
They were in the mall.
Was that a mall?
That was a mall.
Oh, she just proved you wrong, Anthony.
That was a mall.
A store.
No, that was a mall. I'm not talking about the movie. The movie, they were in the grocery store. But the mini series, they were in a mall. Now, I didn't finish that mini series, so I don't know what happened at the end, but they were in the mall.
Okay.
When the mist came.
Okay.
And they boarded up the glass doors and stuff. So
was that a mall or a shop or a grocery store?
The movie was a grocery store.
That's what she's saying. The movie was a grocery store, but the TV show
was
gotcha. I'm tracking.
But again, I didn't finish the series, so clearly we don't know what happened 2 episodes later, but they were in the mall.
Good.
No. But yeah, I'm seeing they really did leave all the Victoria's Secret stuff, like all the lotions. Like even if I didn't take the soap, take the lotions. You never like.
That's true. You don't want to be ashy.
Yeah, exactly. You that's why you know there were no black folks there. Black folks would have taken all that lotion and been like, nah,
moisturizer.
Ain't gonna be ashy. Like, all up in here. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
But you still could have went to Victoria's to get some underwear though. Everybody needs underwear.
I mean, we did. We only saw the thong.
They probably took all the regular
shorts.
underwear. Who wants to worry about digging a thong out of their ass?
Nobody. Why you running?
Why you running?
What was it? What was it? Riley said, "I'm trying to imagine you in that."
That was my first. I was like, oh yeah. So she thinking about her like that. So yeah.
Really now. And then Ellie was sitting there, kind of imagining herself in it, like, like, do I have enough? Like looking back at her ass, like, can I? Like, I was like, come on.
I think more so Ellie was looking at how would that work, because again, it's just a scrap. It's just a scrap of fabric. And again, who wants to wear that while you're trying to run for your life? I don't even want to wear that in regular life when I don't have to worry about some cordyceps coming after me.
It's
Anthony is like, this conversation is getting uncomfortable.
It's aerodynamic.
No
drag.
It's irritating.
No drag? No, God, no, damn it, no.
And that's why that mannequin was still sitting up straight. It wouldn't even fall over from somebody pushing it over. Nope. It was straight standing there with the other lingerie.
The lingerie was clean. Nobody had touched it. Nobody had touched it. They looked at that and was like, "What we not going?
We don't have time for that. We're running there and get the boys.
Nobody got time for that.
Some granny panties. I don't care, but we're not getting none of that."
Mm-hmm.
Does Victoria's Secret sell granny panties? I have no idea.
I mean, y'all are looking at this the wrong way. We still have to encourage people to procreate.
Honey, at that time, they don't care what they look like. People ain't care what they look like.
They're not going to need any prompts.
And let's be honest.
Encouragement.
It's not too many people who are going to think about bringing we talked
a
about
person into that world.
Well, excuse me. There's a lot of people who are having these kids over here. You see these kids,
you saw
and
all those kids in that during camp.
Yeah, so people were bored at night. You have no television, probably no radio signal. You can't find a good magazine.
And then in Jackson,
the books
you saw
are gone.
The kids in Jackson.
Yes.
Come on now.
People, what you gonna do when you bored? That's the reason why we got an influx of kids now from COVID. Every time there's a bad winter storm, we got kids.
Instead of worrying about the soap,
lockdowns, we got
kids.
PBS
and stole all the condoms, because I'm sorry,
they don't have time for that.
Actively trying to bring
they don't have time for that
into the world, into a world where noise attracts the thing that can kill them. I mean, think about A Quiet Place. No.
Yeah, and they did that.
Plus you have to think about babies just slow you down, because you gotta and babies make a lot of noise. So it's like, not only do you have to run with it, you gotta hush it, because the clickers can hear it and zoom in on you. And it's like,
but if you in the walls, if you within the walls and you have your 9 to 9 job, because I feel like they've been overworked. You got your 9 to 9 job. You come home, you eat the dry ass beef jerky, and now we
That
looking
you're
at each
already
other.
rationing. That
Right,
you're
and you're
already
looking at each other
What we
like,
gonna do?
what we gonna do? I mean, and then you know what? A kid pops out, you be like, oh, okay. And
My
guess
ass
what?
is
Most of those kids' parents died. I wonder how they died, but you know,
Noisy ass kids.
I mean, no,
you
they
know,
probably
Fedra's
starved
probably
to death
saying,
because they're trying to feed those rations to the children and make sure the children are okay.
but Fedra's probably promoting this because they need soldiers. So they like, if you bring us a child, we'll
You-
give you a box of pork and beans.
Yeah,
A
you might be
box.
right.
A
That would
box.
make sense. It really would. But
You know what I'm saying? They probably encourage that because that does help their population with soldiers.
mhm,
So
it makes sense. That does make sense. It's so
they,
weird seeing money in a show like this when they go into the photo booth and Riley's like, I came prepared. I'm like, Riley, where you getting money from? And I'm like, oh wait, it's a mall. They
yeah,
probably left all the money because at that point they're like, what's the purpose?
yeah.
Just like an arcade, she raided the change machine, so
And it
someone
was
put
money
a
down there.
$5.
I
Yeah.
would have done the exact same thing. I'm not gonna lie, because when they're walking through and they're looking, I used to spend a lot of my time in the arcades. And she goes past, there's Centipede and there's Galaga. Oh, that's where I'm spending all my money. Yeah, I might go hit Mortal Kombat a little bit there, but yeah, no, let me go here. Let me go here and let's just spend all the money. I don't think I would have been quite as loud as they were. But then again, like I said, Ellie had never been here before. She had never seen anything like this before. So she was excited. You can't blame her for being excited. Now, the thing that weirded me out, the whole dancing with the mask, I was like, no, because first of all, you got a clown mask. That's no.
I agree. I agree.
Werewolf mask.
That's not sexy. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't think at that point either one of them were trying to be the sexy. They hadn't even acknowledged their crush on each other at this point. They were just being silly. They were being fun. But still, I was like,
Not with
no,
the clown mask. Not
no
with the
thanks.
clown mask.
And
Mm-mm.
not with the gorilla, not with the wolf mask either. Like, if something does come, you can't see. You can barely breathe in those things. The vision is kind of partially no. I need
And
to
they
know
already been drinking.
everything. And you've been drinking, so it's probably
And
hot.
but
That's
then
probably why Ellie took
even
it off.
drinking and emotions too. Emotions are high because we just had our first fight, and we have now recovered from the fight.
Yeah, that fight was intense because that's when Ellie realizes that, oh shit, you really are a firefly. So what was all of this, And basically what we find out is Riley she's leaving Boston. She's going to go to Atlanta, and she's trying to convince Ellie to go with her. And again, you see them have the conversation because Ellie is Team Fedra over here.
Mm-hmm.
And Riley is like, Fedra is
Team
not the way to
No,
go.
I didn't think Riley was trying to convince her to go with her because she said she asked them if she could take her, and Marlene told her no.
They told her no, but she still wanted her to go with her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed that part of the conversation.
No, she was saying, I want you to come with me, but they're saying no.
Yeah.
The Fireflies were saying no, but why does that mean Ellie can't go? Ellie
But she still wanted this night with her. And she wanted it to be perfect, but their views got in the way.
Yeah, that kind of happens when you find like handmade bombs that your friend created.
Well, you had to bring that up. I mean, that's what she do on the side. She had to get a job.
Handmade bombs that she didn't even want to handle.
And
she's like, I don't know if I made those right. Don't hand those to me.
What's funny is Ellie handled it like she's held some pipe bombs before. She was like, yeah, look at this right here. She tossed it to her like
put that shit down.
It's like, why are you handling that?
Boo, this is unstable.
Right. But I mean, she goes back to Riley because, I guess at some point she's like, okay, you know what? I don't want to leave on these terms. If she's going to be gone forever, I don't want the last thing for her to remember is that we had a fight. Because at this point, you don't know if Riley's going to be able to come back. One, she won't be able to come back to Fedra because Fedra will have figured out, oh, she left and she never returned. She's probably a Firefly now. So she would have never been able to come back, which means that Ellie probably would never have been able to see her again. She does go back. They finish their little date. And like I said, they put on the music. First of all, I got an issue with Riley calling Ellie's music crap. Excuse me, she had Aha in her Walkman. That is not crap. So
Etta James and friggin' what she listened to first?
She was listening to the Aha, I think. It was
when she was running in circles, she was listening to someone else.
I'm sorry. I have some thoughts that Ellie was thinking. This is the reason why she came back. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared of everything. I'm scared of what I saw. I'm scared of what I did, who I am, and most of all, I'm scared of walking out of this room and never feeling the rest of my whole life the way I feel when I'm with you. That's what she was thinking. Side note, that's from Dirty Dancing. I'm sorry I had to bring that up. But that's what I thought when she walked away and realized, I can't give this up. I got to go back.
Never gonna give you up.
Oh my God. Wish I knew how to quit you.
These infected.
You complete me.
All of which apply to this situation.
Yes.
Always.
Oh. So the way that they were playing Mortal Kombat, that's how I play video games now, because I don't know what to do, and I'm too old to go into and know exactly which sequence of buttons to push for something. So yeah, I'm that person. I'm just moving stuff and pressing buttons and just hoping for the best. That's actually how I learned how to play Mortal Kombat. And I was like, wait, this works.
That's how everybody learned how to play Mortal Kombat.
That works. But it's so funny how she
doing it.
How she's touching it, because it literally looks like she's never played a video game before. And
I don't think she has.
No, I mean,
because Riley was like, you can touch the joystick, but you can move that stick.
But it was just it was fun. I love seeing Ellie discover all this new stuff. But of course, all good times have to come to an end.
Wait, now did anyone else thought when they were dancing on top of the counter, like
I thought they were going to fall through.
The glass was
right. I'm like, what do y'all weigh? Like
they kept focusing on certain little things in the episode that made you think, oh, something's about to happen with that. Part of the producing bullshit that they did with the whole episode. They made you wonder about everything. Oh, is somebody going to come out the Victoria's Secret store that's standing in front of it for a long time? Is something going to come while they're playing the video games? It's very loud. They can't hear it. Are they going to get trapped in the photo booth? There's like literally that photo booth. They have no other way out. I was wondering if somebody was going to come. I was thinking a Firefly was going to show up and be like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, excuse me, aren't you supposed to be on patrol, or aren't you supposed to be doing this? There was so much, but yes, that glass, they kept showing their feet and then walking over the glass. I was like, this shit finna break. Somebody gonna cut themselves. That's how they're gonna get caught. And I was just ready for it. But then, of course, they're sitting there, they're dancing. Ellie takes off the mask. Riley takes off the mask. And she's looking at her like, what? Ellie kisses her. Moment of joy when she realizes Riley feels the same. Yay. And I was like, what was it? That's when the fight started.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they hear a noise. And you know that had to have not been the first time that Riley encountered a clicker or an infected. Because she heard it. She was ready. She grabbed that gun. She was like, hold up. She was like, get ready to run. Yeah. And when that thing came around the corner, I was like, first of all, why it take you so long to get there? They've been making noise for like the last half hour.
Well, it had to find them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's not a clicker, so it had to,
That's true.
He probably stopped to get a Cinnabon. Then he's like, he probably went and tried on some of that Vicky Snicky. Then he was like,
So
yeah, he couldn't figure out where they were. He was coming from the American Girl doll shop, so that took a minute.
Oh, and this is why she's so attached to the book too, to the damn pun book, because she had the first volume in her room at Fedra, and then Riley has found her the second volume. So now that book holds a little bit more significance because it was like the last gift Riley gave to her before before all of this happened, because even when she got mad at Riley, she walked off. She didn't have the book, and when she came back and they kind of sort of reconciled, she was like, give me the book. Like, look, before this goes further, give me my damn book. That way, if I need to walk off again, I'll have it. But yeah, so the infected comes in, Riley shoots at it, and they get into this like big fight with it because Riley is knocked out for a little bit. The gun is knocked out of her hand. Ellie and the infected are going at it. Now, I will say this. Fedra is doing a good job of training those kids, because Ellie was like stab. I mean, she was going at this thing. She was not panicked. She was just like, okay, I gotta save Riley. I gotta do this. And she kills the infected. She stabs it in the brain and it dies. And when she looks at it, she's like, holy shit. She's so excited that she did it. And then Riley looks at her, and that's when we see she's got the bite. And as she's sitting there trying to wipe the blood out, and the screen, y'all, that screen tore my heart out. Screen tore my heart out. And then Riley looks at her, and Riley's got a bite on her hand. I was like, okay, we knew it was coming. We knew that's where the story was taking us. Did not make it any easier to digest that both of them had been bitten. I was like, now we got to sit here and watch Riley die and all this other stuff. And like we said at the top of the episode, I'm glad that they didn't show us that part. Like, they showed us, their reactions. Ellie was sitting there pissed off. She took a baseball bat, started breaking the glass cases. She was pissed. She was angry. Riley was sitting on the ground, kind of resigned. And, I think she was just kind of like, okay, this is what it is. I mean, what more can you do? There's nothing you can do. There's no one you can go to for help at this point. And when they start discussing their options, she was like, we could take the easy way out. She's got her gun in her hand. And she's like, I don't want to do that. I want to, whatever time we have left, I want to enjoy it. I want to spend it with you. It's one of those things where she's like, look, let's not give up. And I was just like, that's so beautiful and so sad at the same time, because y'all are too young to be having this conversation. Like, literally, y'all should be exploring more malls. You should be having more fun. You should be exploring first kisses and stuff like that. And you're talking about the best way to live your life before you lose your mind and aren't able. It was so sad. And that little hug at the end, before we go back to present day Ellie, I was like, but at least we didn't have to see it. Like, we know enough to piece together from the information Ellie has given us over the last few episodes, that obviously Riley probably turned because Ellie obviously didn't. So that's the other traumatizing thing for her. She had to watch her best friend and the person she loved turn. Or if she or they decided to kill her before that happened, we still had to watch that. Or she still had to watch that, rather. Just traumatizing all around. And then we come back to present day Ellie, who is still sitting there with her hand on the door about to leave Joel. And I think at this point, she remembers what Riley said. She was like, look, we don't give up. We stay. We live out the rest of our life. She goes to the kitchen. She starts looking through the drawers for something. And then she finds a needle and thread in one of the kitchen drawers. She goes back downstairs to Joel, and she just grabs him. She holds his hand, and he looks at her. And I think he was glad that she actually didn't leave. Takes his shirt up, She starts, trying to sew
Ugh.
his wound together.
Mm-mm.
Owie.
I was like, no. Can we find some alcohol?
No.
I mean, she probably could have, but I feel like if Ellie had gone anywhere outside of that house, I feel like the further away she got from the house, the more probability that Joel would have died. And I think she probably felt that too. At least if she sews him up, she can stop the bleeding a little bit. Now, granted, that baseball bat handle went in him pretty deep. So
It
that
did.
that
Just,
that's those sutures, that's just gonna be a band-aid for now. She still needs to get him help. She
she
still has to
does,
figure
but
out a way to save him. And I don't know, the next episode, the previews look very harrowing. Like,
he's struggling. Like, I just wanted something. Give him something, because that's painful.
Well, it looks like she dealing with somebody, but they don't know about his existence.
that's what I'm thinking
Right.
too.
That's what it looks like.
Oh yeah, that.
Because it's
So
like,
she's going to be in a dire situation because she's trying to defend herself and make sure she keeps him hidden.
right. And she can't tell anybody about her condition because that makes her a prize.
Yeah.
So yeah, and she's having to do all of this now by herself because of Joel's condition. So yeah, no. But of course, they leave us on another cliffhanger because we see her patching Joel up, but of course we don't know what's gonna happen to him. And the episode ends. And I was like, okay, so we only have what, 2 more episodes for y'all to continue to rip our hearts out? Okay.
They're just going to keep on ripping.
Playing with
Man,
my emotions.
this episode was good though. The actress who played Riley, she was so good. And
I'm going to give kudos to the set designers for the mall. I think they
that
did a really
mall
good
was
job.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was like, did they really find an abandoned mall and just do all of that stuff? But no, just amazing. This show is
I was
really
looking at it because I was like, is that Shannon Mall?
Shannon Mall has been gone.
I mean, but it's still standing there. I mean,
No, it's not. That area, that's a movie studio now. It's been a movie studio now for like 9
shit.
years.
I haven't been down there that long. So.
Yeah, it's like a whole movie studio. Cause that's over in the area where my mom lives. My mom used to walk from her house to the mall. She was so upset when they when they tore it down. She was like, "No, I can't walk to Macy's anymore." But yeah, it's a full-blown movie studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, there really aren't that many malls left there. South Lake Mall is over here near where me and Anthony and Michelle live.
And yeah. But I
Cumberland
mean,
Mall is still
this on its last legs.
Yeah.
Well, Lennox Mall is still there.
We don't talk about Lennox.
Yeah, we don't talk about Lennox Mall.
We don't talk about Lennox.
We at least got Perimeter.
Bang.
We got Perimeter Town Center.
Oh, correct. So there are still some malls around. You've got the big mall up in Beaufort. What, I can't even think of the name of it right
Mall
now.
of Georgia.
Yes, that
Mall of Georgia.
There you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this clown mask is so creepy. Like, why does the clown have this one piece of hair just sticking up in the front?
I don't know.
And
I
then
just
you
don't
got
like
that
clowns,
big thick
so.
braid sticking out in the back. It was
I just can't pay attention to it.
No. Too much. Yeah.
But the good thing about this mall is that it wasn't like a Stranger Thing mall where they had to make it like the 80s. At least this was just in what, 2003?
Some of the same stores.
Some of the same store. You know what I'm saying? They can use like literally the
I saw
same
it in a
store.
Spree store in the background. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You remember?
And I was looking for merry-go-round in the background. I was like, so you got a merry-go-round and a merry-go-round store. We'll get some parachute pants.
Stop.
So you got a GameStop, so
they found a mall in Calgary.
Yeah, Northland Village Mall.
Northland Mall.
Okay.
Which was an American style mall in Canada.
And that's why they had. Well, they can put the Target and the CVS in there.
Surprised it didn't have a Tim Hortons, don't you know?
We have 2 episodes.
Please direct all emails to what was it?
MC
MC
1971
EMCEE 1971 at yahoo.com or Gmail or AOL.
No. Oh my goodness.
MC17 at TikTok.
Sure. There you go. You can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll be more than happy to reply to you.
Oh, okay. So we have Ellie in danger in the next episode. We don't know what's going on with Joe. Because I would assume the goal would be for them to get back to Tommy at this point. Because in Jackson, they probably have doctors, they have medical care. I mean, you kind of have to if you have a town of 300 people. But yeah, she's gonna have some difficulty getting him there because he's really not gonna be much of a help to her in his condition. And the poor horse is like, okay, well, at least I got some shelter for the moment.
Yeah, until
she
that
was
snow
smart.
fell on her.
She was very smart.
It was smart to put him in the garage.
Mhm.
Because I was wondering, like, why did she choose that house? They passed so many nice houses, but that was easy to get into.
Mhm. Yeah.
And he's in the basement because the windows are crashed in, and so.
Anybody have any final thoughts? I'm paused on this clicker when it first comes in, and it's literally sitting there like this. It just looks so weird. Oh my goodness. Anybody have any final thoughts on this episode except for, yes, thank you, HBO, for continuing to rip our hearts out?
I'm looking some of these shows, they do all this emotional damage stuff and they rip your hearts out, and sometimes they give you some hope, like a little glimmer of hope. And I don't think I've seen any of that in this show.
No.
Like I haven't seen any prospect of a light at the end of the tunnel at all. Everything
you have
is dead end.
You have little
moments,
but not for the end game. Not for the end game.
No.
But you do have, like, Tommy and Joel's reunion. Getting to see Ellie, discover love for the first time or whatever. You have those.
But those are like light individual moments. But I'm talking about like
a big hope. There is one. We started that first episode where it was 1968. What year was it when the scientist was talking? And it's like he was like, if it happens, it's over. Completely over. Completely over. Even the doctor, when it did happen, she's like the look on her face, like this is the end of the world, like truly the end of the world, truly end of humanity, truly the end of people. But Ellie is that hope. It's the hope that there's others. There's the hope that we actually can survive this. That's the hope of it all.
Yeah, but we are conspiring against ourselves. Like Ellie, at every turn, is in danger of being sniffed out.
That's true, but it's still the hope that there's others and that we will surpass this infection.
What I keep thinking of?
That's the hope
of National Treasure, where he was like, every puzzle leads to another puzzle. There's a puzzle inside of a puzzle inside of here. Oh, let's get you here to the fireflies. Oh, they're dead. Okay, well, let's get you here to the fireflies. Oh, they're not there anymore. Okay, let's get you here to the fireflies. Stabbed with a bat. I mean, come on.
But still, the overarching, there is hope. There's a difference between no hope and hope. I love movies where there's hope. I hate movies. I love disaster movies, but I hate the ones there's no hope. There's one movie, there was no way we could get out of it. The Knowing. The whole planet blew up and they showed it. Here, it shows that we are going to live on. It may not be Ellie, it may be someone else, but we can see that it's a possibility.
Do you know why Pandora's box was supposed to lead to the end of humanity? What was the one thing that escaped from the box?
Hope.
Hope. That's humanity's downfall. We keep having hope for things that's not going to happen.
Well, this is
You are
they
such
did
a
have
Debbie
hope.
That is
Downer.
the moral of the story. It's the end of
No, and that's what they
humanity's
thought.
hope.
But it is not. Because they thought there is no way they can get past this.
Hope is the last thing we need.
The Last of Us will be the Last of Us, but now it won't be. There is a way out of this.
No, there isn't. It's
It
the
is.
Last of Us.
There's going to be a group that survives.
We're at the end.
The strongest.
We're
not
going to
at the
kill
end.
each other off. They're going to. Oh, just wait.
There is
Just
a
wait.
group
Just
that is
wait.
not
I'm telling
killing.
you.
Jackson is not killing. We just need someone to be
That we know of.
infected.
I mean,
It's the end.
they are killing people that try them. So that's still killing.
Well,
This
yeah, it
is the
is, but you
end.
have rules. Like I said this past weekend, you have rules, and then they have to be consequences. Those people broke rules or they didn't want to go by the rules for us to survive until someone comes out strong.
This is the
Right.
end of humanity. Like the only thing that Walking Dead has over this is that they're sort of surviving, but in Walking Dead they're already dead. Everyone's infected. Everyone's gonna become a walker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
But
the
when
way
you
it is.
die,
Here, they're not walkers yet, but they're killing each other off if they're not being killed by
But the-
infected.
end of the world, we're already going to kill each other off.
Those are my final thoughts.
But when people realize that there is hope, it will get better.
hope is whatever.
You got to understand that the overarching of this is there is hope.
That
Because
is unfortunate.
we wouldn't find someone who actually is immune.
That is unfortunate.
So sorry, but there's hope.
That is there. Who's gonna figure out? Okay, what person is left that's gonna figure out how to engineer cure or a
world
vaccine?
It's huge. It is not just this one piece of the earth.
Cordyceps put humanity on the ropes.
It
is
did.
on the ropes.
And we are fighting back one person at a time. We slowed the infection. Okay.
No,
It is slowed.
okay.
And now we just have to continue to find people that are immune.
I-
They're going to outlive us.
I don't know. It looks like humanity is all walled up in buildings trying to hide from the rampant infection that's all
Not
over
if you're in the
world.
country.
With
Not
with
even in the country.
military who is controlling your food,
Right.
who's controlling what
So
you do.
so if you're
what-
like the
so
old-
then if you're not going to be killed by the infected on the outside, you're going to be killed by the fascists on the inside.
Not necessarily. That lovely couple is
Hope.
surviving.
Hope.
And
Yeah, but
that's
they
the hope.
started before all this shit started, though.
Correct. And there's a bunch of people who did. They're in their fucking bunkers. They're good. And they're not
Oh.
eating flour.
No, you don't think those? Well, yeah, the doomsday people, they had their flour already
They're
stored away
good. Because they
before the
already showed you
cordyceps
one
flour.
doomsday person, and he would have kept living if he didn't get old. That's the only thing that stopped him, pretty much. Was old age.
Damn you, old age!
I mean, he was he
Father
had
Time
it
is
prepared.
undefeated.
Oh, I was a
Right.
motherfucker.
The undisputed Father Time is the undisputed
You
champion
can't-
of the
You
world.
can't fight that. You can't beat it.
You absolutely cannot.
Old age and alien diseases. I mean,
Uh,
they took them down.
yeah. You would have lived if you would have stopped breathing.
And on that note, that's gonna be it.
Well,
You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can chat with us on our Discord channel. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.